Almost 1 year ago to the day, I just happened to be on Facebook looking at a kayaking page, and I saw a guy post about putting together a trip for the Sipsey Fork River in Bankhead National Forest. Even though I didn't know him or a soul in that group, I went and loved it and had a great time. That led to an invitation about a month later by the same guy, Charlie Carpenter, to do Hatchet Creek, a place that I'd heard of but never been, so I went and loved it. Well, a few months ago, Charlie messaged and said, "Hey, we're putting together a 7-day, 6-night trip on the Buffalo National River in Arkansas. Do you want to go?" I said, absolutely. We had all spent the previous day driving from Alabama. We came from the Gulf Coast to almost the Tennessee state line. Our drive times ranged from 7 to about 9 hours. So we stayed in a hotel in Yeovil, Arkansas the night before, and we arrived at our outfitter, Buffalo River Float Service, around 8 a.m. Friday morning. In less than an hour, we were on the road towards our destination. It would be about an hour and a half shuttle to Ponca, Arkansas, where we would begin our 7-day, 6-night adventure down the Buffalo National River. I didn't want to forget anything for this trip, so I made a list and I checked it twice a day for like a week. But as we're getting our boats ready to shove off for our initial launch, I realized something I had forgot. Somehow I had left home without the little adapter I use on my camera pole that goes on the back of my boat. Not only did I not have that adapter, I initially thought, well, I'll just get my backup, because I'd planned to bring a couple of extra, some mounts and camera pieces and devices, and I didn't even have a backup of that. So when I realized I didn't have a way to run my camera pole behind me, I was pretty upset with myself. But I quickly got on with getting ready for the trip, and I thought, well, I'll just have to make do with what I've got. No sense letting it ruin my trip. So I loaded up and shoved off. One of the trademarks of the Buffalo National River, as you see in these clips, is large bluffs with stains running vertically all the way down them. These are caused by minerals in the groundwater that run from the top down. The black and gray stains are caused by zinc and manganese. Red and brown stains are caused by iron. You see these more in the sandstone bluffs because sandstone isn't permeable. The limestone bluffs will have some staining, but it's not as prominent because the water actually gets absorbed into the rock before it reaches the bottom in a lot of cases. Seeing these stained bluffs going down the river never got old. It was incredible.
Woohoo! Yeah, man. Rock it, baby. Well, we can
As our time on the water came to an end for day one, we had only covered about 9.5 miles. But what this day lacked in mileage, it more than made up for in scenery and excitement. As for the scenery, it was probably good in my mind that we didn't do more than about 9 miles. It takes so much to get used to the beauty and the wonder and the scenery and everything around you. And so I'm glad that we didn't go further, because just in that first 9 miles, the scenes were just amazing, and I was just in awe. As a matter of fact, we had an expression that we said every day on this trip: there's beauty around every bend, because it truly seemed that way. Every time you go around a bend in the river, there'd be a new bluff, a new mountain, a new landscape or scene that was just more glorious than the last. It was just unbelievable. And also there was excitement that first day. Unfortunately, we did have 2 separate yard sales in our group. Names will not be mentioned, pictures will not be shown, but we did have 2 guys that swam on the first day. There might have been a few minor things that was lost, but nothing major, I don't believe. Unfortunately, some of the camping gear did get wet. The first night was kind of rough, but after that, things dried out, and I think everybody was okay after that. But we did have that excitement, and in addition to that, on this first day, there was 2 girls who got caught in a strainer. Fortunately, all 5 of our guys got through it fine, but these 2 girls came up in a canoe, got pinned against the strainer. Their boat flipped. They went down with the boat. One of them temporarily experienced a foot entrapment, but was able to get herself free. They got to the bank. It took all 5 of our guys, plus another bystander, with 2 different ropes tied to this canoe to get it off of that strainer. The water pressure was so great pinning that thing down that we almost didn't get it off, but we did. It wasn't damaged. They was able to continue their trip, and so that worked out good. But just between those incidents, with those 2 girls, our own 2 guys, it can happen to anybody, anytime. If you've paddled at all, you know the expression, we're all in between swims. Of course, with all this going on, we did have the 2 stops, and all this on a day where we didn't even get started till 10:30, 10:45. So there was a whole lot going on in a short period of time on this first day, and it was exciting, it was beautiful, it was fun. But anyway, as we had completed about 9.5 miles, we were near Bear Cave Hollow. We found a good spot, pulled off, and decided to set up camp for the evening.
You got them good. You got them creamy and they're good. They're good creamy like that.
Yep.
Well, here we are, day 2. Waking up on the river is an amazing feeling, especially when you wake up to views like this. I mean, wow. Love waking up, sitting around the fire, making my coffee, getting some breakfast. We had a good camp, good night's rest. It's a beautiful day. But right here, when you're loaded up and you shove off that first time and you're getting on the water and you know you have a whole day of paddling ahead of you, I've determined this is my favorite part of the trip. Every day I look forward to getting on the water. I mean, camps were fun, enjoyed sitting around the fire, hanging out with the guys. And after a long day, it did feel good to get to camp and set up and kind of kick your feet up a little bit. But I never was ever excited to get off the water, and I look forward to getting on the water every single day. That's why I love paddling. I just love being on the water. Well, this was day 2. It was fantastic. And as you can tell, the scenery just did not quit. It was another gorgeous day on the Buffalo National River. It really was a beautiful day. The highs were probably in the upper 50s, low 60s. I didn't do a real good job logging the temperatures. That's something I'll probably want to do next time. But it was mild. It was beautiful, very comfortable. And what was neat about today was this was our first full day of paddling. We actually woke up on the river, loaded up, got on the water, started paddling, paddled all day. And so this was the first of the next 6 days or 5 days where we would kind of, figure out our groove, see how everything was going to go. Obviously, with the river, with weather, you never really know what to expect. Things could change, but we did somewhat get in a groove today. We paddled about 7 hours, covered about 17.5 miles. That put our trip total at 27 miles. So we've got roughly 100 miles to go. And so we felt good about the day. You know, we'd covered a fair amount of miles, but we didn't really push it. You know, we stopped usually in the morning and the evening of each day just to kind of stretch our legs. We always stop for lunch as well. And so this was just a good day to kind of find our groove, and that's what we did. There was no incidents today. It was just a nice, fun day on the water. One thing you will notice in these clips is I'm actually running my solar panel today. I had enough batteries for probably a couple days for my GoPros, and I also had, I think, 3 battery banks, 3 rechargers, and each of those 3 rechargers actually had solar panels built into them to where they could recharge themselves. But I don't think those panels would recharge them fully every day. It's something that was meant to kind of help recharge them a little bit. So as I'm going down the river, I'm just having to figure out, how can I charge this stuff? What do I need to charge first? How long is it going to take? And it was the first day to use that, but it went good. Ended up being a pretty good setup. Never had any issues. Always had plenty of battery power and recharging power, so I was really pleased with that. Well, as we ended the day, we approached Welch Bluff. There was a nice little bend in the river with a gravel bank. We pulled up on there, checked it out. It looked great. We decided to set up camp here. After we pulled off, we noticed that there was a road that came up not too far away and a trail that went from the gravel bar up to the road. During busy season, this place can be really crowded. There's a lot of people here, and it might not be a good camping spot during the busy season. But here in the end of March, early April, there was not many people out. It was a great place to camp, so we set up camp for the evening to wrap up day 2. GoPro, stop recording.
If I'd roll in the river, y'all come get me.
I'm not gonna find my flashlight. This one's doing really good.